I'm so thankful to be here and to be moving with you. We're going to start on our side today. You'll want your props, your strap, your rolled up towels, maybe blocks. Later on in class, you're going to want two of something. So if you don't have two thin blocks, you will probably want two rolled up towels or two books that are about the same height. And you'll see why. That will be later in class. But if you're not sure what to use yet, just start thinking about it, or you can go grab two towels for yourself. But that being said, we're going to start on our sides. Sometimes we put something under our ribs, sometimes under our waist, sometimes under our hip. Today we're going to start under our waist. So you're going to start laying on your side and putting a prop. It can be a rolled up towel. It can be a block with a rolled up towel on top of it. It can be a bolster. Go to a height that feels comfortable for you, but we're going to line it up right under our waist. So whatever you lay on, you're kind of lining up your belly button so it's about in line whatever you're laying on. And then feel free to have an extra pillow or towel if your head doesn't come down with ease, but otherwise you can lay over and lay your head down. And just take a moment to feel comfortable. Try to stack your hips so your top hip is right on top of your bottom hip. And take a couple breaths here. And I will say that with this block and this towel, this is a pretty big stretch for the waist, a pretty big lift for the waist. So it's okay to start out with something lower and then just start to tune into your breath here. Feel your inhales and your exhales. Relax any clenching going on from your toes to your hips. And then you can either just stay right here and enjoy the lengthening around your waist, or you can reach your top arm into the air, and we'll do 3 different rotations. We'll start with our palm facing forward, and we'll go overhead any amount and back up into the air. Overhead and back up. Overhead and back up. Overhead and back up, and then rotate your palm to face towards the top of your head and reach over and up. Take your time, reach over, feel the length and up, reach over and up, and reach over and up. And then last but not least, rotate your palm to face behind you. So you'll probably have to bring your hand quite a bit in front of your body. With your palm facing behind you, you'll just go down and back up into the air. Down and back up, down and back up, and down and back up. And then bring that hand down in front of you. Use it to press yourself up. You can roll over onto your other side, or you can just spin around. But you're lining up whatever props you're using right in line with your belly button. So as you lie onto your side, you're trying to set it up so it's really right under the side curve of your waist. So your belly button lines up with your prop, your bottom arm or another pillow or another towel becomes your prop. You might have to roll a little bit to find a spot that feels comfortable. You're right on the center of your waist. Your hips are not rolling back or forward. Your hips are stacked. And then just take a few breaths here. And sometimes you'll feel it's not only the lengthening of the bottom of the waist, or the top of the waist, but the bottom of the waist. Sometimes you'll feel that pressure. It's a little bit like a massage. It shouldn't be painful. Tuning into your breath here. And if there's a purpose that you would like to set for your practice of life, what do you want to plant a seed for? What do you want to become more aware of in your life? Don't skip over these purposes. Set anything, it could be just, I want to feel better every day in every way I'm getting better and better. Like, plant a seed for something simple if you don't know what you particularly want to work on, but something that just supports you and your life and loving yourself and taking care of yourself. And then reach that top arm in the air if you choose to, palm facing forward. Reach overhead. You can just go in line with your shoulder or towards the floor and back up. Feeling the length along the side of the body. All right, next time our arms in the air, rotate your palm to face towards the crown of your head. And then next time your arm's in the air, bring your arm a little forward so you can rotate your palm to face behind you. Pinky finger comes down and up. And then from there, bring that hand in front of you, press yourself up, and we're gonna take the prop out, and we're actually gonna go back onto each side one more time. So just scooting yourself around. Feel free to have a pillow under your head, or you can use your elbow to prop yourself up. Your legs are straight in line with your body or a little bit in front of your body, a tiny little bit for balancing purposes. Flex your ankles, reach your top leg long. That will help slightly lift up the bottom of your waist. Lift that leg into the air about in line with your top AS-IS bone, so your outer hip bone, and then very slowly at first, bend the heel in towards your buttocks and straighten. And you want to go very slowly so you don't feel any unnecessary pressure in your knee, just in case the back of your leg cramps up. You're not going into it too quickly. And kind of feel as you bend, do you feel the stretch more in the center of your thigh, the bottom of the front of the thigh, the top of the front of the thigh? That will change if you slightly lower the leg or slightly lift the leg up. So find that place where you're feeling it more in the center of the thigh. And then next time you bend, stay there. You can lasso a strap around your ankle. You can reach for your ankle. Reaching for your ankle doesn't give you as much leeway to relax in case you feel any pressure in your knee. You can also just skip the strap entirely, which is what I'm going to do today. I'm just going to hold my heel in towards my buttocks and actively hold this quadricep stretch. I'm breathing here. Relaxing any clenching around the hip, around the buttocks muscles. All right, and then extend that leg long, press yourself up, either roll over to your other side or spin yourself around. You can use a pillow under your head. You can use your hand under your head with your elbows supporting you, legs slightly in front of the body. Lift your leg up about hip height, and then take your time and nice and slowly bend the heel in. And extend, and bend in, and extend. Let's do two more like that, ankle flexed. Again, just notice the height of the knee, how that changes the stretch on the front of the thigh. Feel free to lasso a strap around, reach for your ankle, or just hang out in the air. Bringing your heel in a little closer towards your buttocks. Breathing here. Relaxing, clenching in the inner thigh, in the outer thigh, around the hips and the buttocks. It takes a lot of reminders. All right, and then extend that leg, press yourself up. We're gonna make our way onto our backs. You might want something for under your head. At some point, you're gonna want something to use as a block, but you can probably get away without using it. So come onto your back. Start with your knees bent, outer edges of feet straight, ankles hip distance apart, but then you're gonna tilt your tailbone into neutral, so your pelvis into neutral, so your tailbone goes down. You have this subtle lift right under your waist, but eventually not under your rib cage. So if you feel your ribs lifting up, maybe stack your head or your shoulders a little higher. And then we're gonna lift our right foot up off the floor, and you're gonna extend as straight as you can, flexing the ankle, and bend nice and slowly. And extend, reach up, and bend. Notice as you extend, does your leg always want to go forward? If possible, can you extend straight up into the air without force? And then bend, and then extend, hold, and rotate your thigh bone side to side. Maybe spread out your toes a little bit here as you rotate your thigh bone. Keep lengthening up through the inner and outer thigh, and then grab your strap and loop it around the ball of your foot right below your toes. Extend your left leg long, tilt your pelvis so the back of the left thigh comes down, lower the right leg enough that you can straighten the leg all the way. And so that might require that you really keep the leg low. Listen to your pelvis if your leg stays straight and you're lifting your leg higher. And then internally rotate your thigh bone. So from the top of your thigh bone, rotate it so your knees and toes turn towards the center of your body slightly. And stay there and try to relax your thigh muscles and see if you can get a little bit more length through the sides of your thigh. All right, externally rotate. Turn your toes and your knee out to the side slightly. Knee, ankle, and hip in line. Reach up through the inner and outer thigh to get a little bit more length. Keeping your thigh in external rotation so your knees and toes are turned out to the right a little bit. Slightly take that leg across the body, keeping your right hip mostly down on the ground. And then relax around the thigh muscles, around the hip. Pulling on the strap to bring that leg back up into the air. Release your right foot, bend your right knee, bend your left knee. Keep your knees bent, but your tailbone tilting down, pelvis in neutral as you lift your left foot into the air and go nice and slow, especially for the first one. Extend, flexing the ankle and bend the knee. Extend, reaching straight up as you can and bend the knee. And extend and bend. Hold, reaching up through all sides of the thigh. Rotate the thigh bone, knee, ankle, and outer top ASIS bone in line. Breathing. All right, grab your strap, wrap it around the ball of your foot right below your toes. Extend your right leg long, tilting your pelvis into neutral so the back of that right thigh comes down or closer, lowering the leg enough that the leg can be straight. And then once the leg is straight, see how high you can lift the leg without your pelvis tucking under. So keeping the tailbone relaxed down, pull back on the ball of the foot, and slightly internally rotate the thigh bone. So turning the top of the thigh in so the knees and the toes turn slightly in. And then relaxing around there, the inner thigh, the inner groin area, around the hip. And then rotate your thigh bone in the other direction, straightening through the inner and outer thigh. Relaxing the front of the thigh, the back of the thigh. Just in little doses is great. Okay, keeping that external rotation, the knees and the toes turned out to the left. Slowly take that leg across the body, keeping the left hip mostly on the ground. And tuning into your breath, letting it flow. So your left hip might stay on the ground, but are your left ribs lifting off the ground? Can you keep your left ribs down? All right, bring that leg back up, release the strap, bend both of your knees with your Outer edges of your feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Try to walk your ankles right under the front of your knees, not too close to your buttocks. And then let's just do some bridge lifts here, pushing into the soles of the feet. Lift the hips up. Try to use the entire sole of the foot. Notice if your muscles will engage, but notice if anything in particular is clenching, the buttocks muscles, the inner thighs. Try to release clenching. And we're going to vary this in a very subtle way. So as you lift, your ribs stay relaxed down. But we don't need to make big differences in the position of our bones. And just check out how your ankles feel, how your knees feel. Continue to release any excessive clenching. Okay, walk your feet back to hip distance apart, and now a little goes a long way. Walk your feet a tiny little bit closer than hip distance apart. Outer edges of feet straight, and take your time to lift and lower there. All right, walk your feet back to hip distance apart. Lift up into a bridge pose and then see with your hips in the air, can you tuck your pelvis so your pubic bone goes up and untuck your pelvis without your hips touching down to the floor. Now all of a sudden you have this crease back between your pelvis and the top of your thigh. So tuck, untuck, still floating the hips above the floor. Tuck, untuck, tuck, untuck. And for what we're doing next, we're going to start, we want our hips to just be barely off the floor, and we want to be in this untucked position where our pubic bone is down and we have this hip and thigh crease. So keep that in mind. Lower your hips down, but before we get there, extend your left leg long, bend your right knee into 90 degrees, right hand to right rib cage, reach your left hand across, keep your ribs from your waist up down, and just turn from the waist and the pelvis. And let's do it dynamically a few more times. So bring it back, rotate across. 2 more like that. On the last one, stay in the twist for an extra breath. Relax your left thigh. Let it release down. That will help untuck your pelvis a little bit more if it's tucked under. Unwind, extend your right leg long, bend your left knee, left hand to the side of the left ribs, right hand reaches across, and turn from the waist and pelvis, and go back and do that 3 more times. On this last one, hold, feel the turn of the waist and the hips with the ribs staying relaxed down. It's okay if it's very small. Relax the right thigh bone. All right, come back. So bend both of your knees, outer edges of feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. We're barely lifting our hips up off the floor, and we're keeping that crease. Our muscles, not everyone, but most people's muscles are going to want to try to tilt that pubic bone up, especially as we start to work the legs in a particular way. So try to think of your tailbone staying down, your hands just can barely fit under your buttocks. Put your hands on the top of your pelvis and spread them out. One thing it does is it helps you see if you're tucking under, so keep the untuck. And the second thing is we're going to try to prevent our hips dropping down to one side or the other. So we're trying to keep our hips even as we push into our left foot and lift and lower our right foot. And we're not going for long endurance, just like you're taking a step and lowering your foot down. Keep tilting the tailbone down, and you're getting the work on the back of the left leg, the left buttocks muscles, using the entire sole of the left foot. Again, just be extra conscious of that hip is dipping down or shifting to one side, or both of your hips are. and we're not going for perfection, we're just going for progress to try to keep our hips a little bit more steady when we're on one leg. Okay, let's switch. Feet straight, ankles hip distance, buttocks barely up off the floor, pelvis flat, push into the right foot, and lift and lower the left leg. Try to use the entire sole of the right foot. Try to let the hips slip side to side or drop down on one side a little bit less. You might notice a big difference between one side or the other. Relax any clenching in your shoulders. All right, and then put that leg down. Now keep your left leg bent, extend your right leg long. Again, keep the hands on the pelvis so you can really feel your tailbone and your pubic bone stay down as you flex your right ankle and slowly lift your right leg into the air. Notice if it's veering in, try to keep it in line with your outer hip bone and don't go higher than your knee. Once you go higher than your knee, you start to use different muscles. So nice and slowly down. The slower you go, the more muscle engagement. So keep tilting your pubic bone down and lift nice and slowly. So maybe it takes a count of 5 or 10 to even get your leg up and slowly back down. All right, let's rotate the thigh bone out to the side a little bit so the knees and toes turn slightly out. Slowly lift there. And slowly go down. And do that one more time. Try not to push down at all through your left leg. All right, bend your right knee, extend your left leg long, keep tilting the tailbone down, flex the left ankle, keeping outer hip, knee, and ankle in line as you slowly lift the leg. No higher than the right knee. Take your time. And slowly lower down. Do it one more time with your toes and knee pointing straight up. Keep reaching long through that leg. Rotate the thigh bone so the knee and toes turn out to the side and slowly lift. And do that one more time. Without pushing down through the right foot. All right, and then bend your knee. So you can use a block and you're gonna put it the thinnest width, medium width, and widest width between your feet. So if you don't have a block, you can just separate your feet a little, separate them a little more, separate them a little more. But put the block between the soles of your feet on the thinnest width and put your feet down, your thighs dropping open. You can stick towels under your hips. You can have your feet closer or farther away from you, depending on how that feels for you. And then reach your arms into the air with your palms away from you. Thumbs come together, pinky fingers open to the floor. And as you open and close with this rotation of your arms, sometimes you can go a little higher towards your shoulders, sometimes go a little lower towards your low chest, and sometimes hit right in the middle. Okay, let's lift that block up and turn it to the medium width, and then or just drag your feet a little bit farther apart from each other as your thighs drop open. Palms face each other, back of the hands open to the floor. Hands come together. And a little goes a long way as far as varying the height, maybe a little higher, maybe a little lower. Keep relaxing your hip muscles, your thigh muscles, tilting your pelvis into neutral. Ribs relax down. right, how about either separating your feet wider or lifting that block up and turn the block to the widest width between your 2 feet. Put your feet down, inner thighs drop open, and then from there, turn your palms to face behind you. So pinky fingers touch, thumbs go down to the floor. Take your time. Notice if you always want to go quicker, go a little slower. If you always go super slow, maybe sometimes speed up just a little bit. Relaxing, clenching around the thigh muscles, around the buttocks muscles. All right, and then from there, you can lift your knees up, slide whatever, if you're using a prop, out of the way, either rock yourself up or roll to one side and press yourself up. Come on to your knees, tuck your toes under behind you. So try to get the toes as tucked under as you can. You can either stand up on your knees here or sit back on your heels if it's not too intense for your feet, but your torso is going to be upright. Try to line up your toes so you can feel all 10 of your toes down and your heels are pointing straight up in the air. And then open your arms out to your sides and wrap your right arm on top as you hug. You can be a little higher than I am. I'm just going a little low for mic purposes, but you're trying to wiggle your arms around as much as you can. Open up, left arm on top. Open up, tilting your pelvis into neutral, ribs relax down, right arm on top. Open up, left arm on top. Open, switching. Open and switch. And this time with our right arm on top, we'll stay. Try to see if you can wiggle your fingers around anymore. Drop your shoulders down, drop your elbows down, check in and relax your feet muscles, keeping your hands wrapped around so your ribs drop down. Slide your ears back a little. Turn and look over your right shoulder. Feel the twist of the neck muscles. Turn and look over your left shoulder. Feel the twist of the neck muscles. Upper back nice and wide. Bring your head back to center. Drop your chin down to your chest. Let your chin roll a tiny bit side to side. Go slower. Feel the connection to the muscles in the back of the neck and your upper back. Check in with your toes. Are they rolling? Your ankles rolling to one side or the other? If it's becoming too much, then stand up off of, come up off of your heels. Wrap your left arm around on top. Wiggle your fingers around. Elbows relax down, shoulders relax down. Slowly drop your right ear over towards your right shoulder. Slowly come up, left ear towards your left shoulder. Feeling the width of the upper back. Bring your head back up, and this time, instead of dropping from the base of the neck, just tuck your chin in towards your throat a little bit. Let your forehead drop down a little, and roll your neck a little bit side to side there. Softening the face, relaxing the jaw, checking in with the ankles rolling to one side, feeling your toes spread open a little bit, breathing. All right, and then lift your head up, open your arms up, come onto your knees, step your right foot forward into a low lunge, ankles hip distance apart, outer edges of the feet straight, back foot lines up right in line with the knee. Pelvis is in neutral. You can go forward any amount that your pelvis stays in neutral. While we're here, let's just purposely lift our ribs and push them forward. And then without our pelvis moving, drop our ribs down and back. Ribs lift up and push forward. Relax our ribs down and back slightly. And ribs go up, down and back. Maybe you can even feel your core muscles working differently here because that's what the position of the ribs do. Ribs lift up, ribs drop down and back where we want them most of the time. Vertical breastbone, keep your breastbone vertical and just slide your ears back over your shoulders. And if you carry a lot of tension around your shoulders and your shoulder girdle and your neck, Mine's getting better, but at first when I would slide my head back, my ribs would ever slightly lift up because the tension would pull on the ribs. So slide your head back less, really keep your ribs down. And that will create the range of motion in the muscles right where you want it to. So it becomes easier to slide your head back without pulling your rib cage out of neutral alignment. Let's switch legs. Step your right foot back. Always feel free to pad your knees. Ankles hip distance apart. Outer edges of feet straight. Back ankle lines up with the knee. Pelvis goes forward. Ribs relax down. And then let's go up and forward with the ribs. Back and down without the pelvis moving. Up and forward. Back and down. Keep breathing. Up and forward. Back and down. Up and forward, back and down. Hold the back and down. Keep your ribs down as you slide your head back. Notice as you slide your head back, does it want to tilt back? Try to keep the chin parallel with the floor. And do 2 more like that. And so just keep in mind, our ribs staying down and back is just like our pelvis being in neutral is how we work efficiently around our hips. I don't know if efficiently is the right word, but it's really the base, the root for the work around our hips and our lower body, whereas our ribs relaxing down and back is the root for working around our shoulders, around our upper spine, around our neck. So keep that in mind. Tuck your back toes under, push down to step up. Grab whatever you're going to use for a calf stretch, maybe a rolled up towel, maybe a thin block, maybe a half dome. You're going to do your foot in 3 positions. So your left foot will stay straight. You're going to do your right foot turned in, then turned out slightly, then straight ahead. So we'll pigeon toe our right foot first. And then turn your hips to face forward, ankles hip distance apart. And with your right foot turned in, maybe just stay still here. Maybe you feel comfortable kind of pushing down and balancing through that right leg and stepping your left foot back and forward a little bit. But if you start to bend your knees or lose your balance, don't take as big of a step. So stepping the foot back and forward and back and forward and back and forward. Find a spot where you feel comfortable staying, relaxing your ribs down, elbow pits turn forward, lift your shoulders up nice and slowly, and then resist the urge to pull them down quickly. Really let them relax down slowly. So if you notice you have a clenching pattern of your shoulders going up, learn to relax them down slowly without pulling them down sharply. Shoulders go up, relax down nice and slowly with the ribs staying back and down, elbow pits forward. Shoulders go up, relax down nice and slowly. Shoulders go up, relax down nice and slowly. Switch your foot, step your left foot back, turn your right toes out to the side, but square your hips to face forward. Ground down through the center of the right heel, and then maybe just stay in the stretch or step your left foot forward and back. So a little bit of balance here as you push down through that outer right hip. Hug it in if it tends to pop out to the side. And then you can step that foot any distance that feels comfortable. You feel comfortable staying there with 2 straight legs. And now ribs relax down, pull your shoulders back. So when we're hunching, this is often what we go to. We want to get out of that habit. Move your shoulders forward so your upper back feels wide. Pull back, pull forward, all without the ribs going up and down. The ribs stay relaxed down and back. Pull back, pull forward, pull back, pull forward. My ribs went forward a little bit that time. So how forward do you want to pull your shoulders? You want your shoulders to go forward enough that your upper back is spread wide. You don't feel any bony winging on the edges of your shoulder blades. So instead of pulling your shoulders back, believe it or not, you want your shoulders to drop forward so your upper back spreads wide. And then once your upper back is spreading wide, first thing you can do is turn your elbow pits forward. That will open your chest muscles just a little bit. And then let's step that foot back, turn the outer edge of your foot straight. So pushing down through your outer right hip, stepping your foot forward and back maybe. breathing. As long as your heel doesn't come up and you don't lose balance, you can try stepping your outside foot a little bit further. And then next time you step it forward, hold. So we're working on not having our shoulders hiked up, relax them down. Not having our shoulders pulling back with our ribs down, let them relax forward, wrap your elbow pits. So then you're probably wondering, well, how do I correct this hunching feeling if I'm not pulling my shoulder blades back? Pulling your shoulder blades back doesn't actually correct the hunching. Actually, in time, interestingly enough, it can often make it worse. So what you want to do is reach your arms in front of you, keep your upper back spreading wide, and open your arms out to the side only so much that you don't squeeze your shoulder blades together. Feel them stay wide, and you create your own resistance, pulling your chest muscles open. And over time, keeping your shoulder blades wide, you'll be able to pull your hands a little bit more open. But let's take a moment here, turning our wrists down, extending our wrists, reaching out, hands a little lower than the shoulders. Notice if your hips drifted to one side, bring them back to center. Breathing. And let's switch legs. So put the ball of the left foot up, pigeon-toed. Push down through that hip, hips face straight away. Maybe the right foot steps forward and back a little. Doesn't matter if it stays forward or back. Find a position that you feel comfortable staying in. Ribs relax down without the pelvis tucking under. And from here, shoulders go up nice and slowly. Shoulders relax down nice and slowly. Shoulders go up and relax down. Shoulders go up, 2 straight legs, relax down. Shoulders up, relax down. Okay, turn your foot out to the side, square your hips, push down through your left hip. Maybe you stay in the stretch, maybe your outside foot steps forward and back. You're trying to push down so much through your left hip that your right leg can swing through and back without bending the knee, without hiking the hip up. And then find an angle of your right leg that's comfortable for you. Hips turning straight away, ribs relax down. Pull your shoulders wide, pull them back together. This is not a bad movement, it's just that so many people have a habit of pulling back, thinking that that's what's going to correct hunching in the long run, but that's not what's going to do it. Keeping the ribs relaxed down. When you pull back, try to feel the top to the bottom of the shoulder blades squeeze in. And when you go forward, try to feel from the top to the bottom of the shoulder blades widen apart. So actually let your shoulders be forward, rotate your elbow pits forward, slide your head back a little. Right away, that's going to straighten your spine without you pulling your shoulder blades back in together all the time. Step your foot back, turn the outer edge of your left foot very straight, and then from here, stepping forward and back, keeping the heel grounded, relaxing any clenching. Step the foot into a point that it feels comfortable. Ribs relax down, shoulders wide on the back, elbow pits forward. Reach your arms in front of you, low chest. Now think of your shoulder blades spreading wide. Keep them there and create your own resistance. Like you're not letting those shoulder blades come together on your back. And then flip your hands down, extend your wrists, slide your ears back. Breathing here, check your weight is centered between your 2 legs. Ground through the center of your heels, legs nice and straight. All right, and then release. Okay, so the solution is to not pull your shoulder blades back. Get your arms out more often with your shoulders wide, and then over time your chest and your upper back will open together. Push down through your outer right hip, top of the foot stretch. You can gently, if it doesn't bother you, you can push the top of your foot gently into the floor and then bring that foot back. Feet straight, ankles hip distance. Push the left hip down. Push down through the top of the right foot. Going side to side. A little bit of gentle balance work. Always feel free to use your hand on a chair or a wall. Okay, next time your left foot goes back, hold, and then keep your weight back in the heel of your standing leg. If that hip goes out, hug it in. Try to spread all the toes of your right foot. How about lifting your big toe up and keeping your little toes down? How about putting your big toe down and lifting your little toes up? Keep working on those two. If you've got it, how about going back and forth between the two? All right, bring that left foot forward, outer edges of feet straight, ankles hip distance. Tuck the top of the right foot behind you, stay. Center that ankle, try to relax the foot. Always okay to put a towel or pillow under there. How about spreading all the toes on your left foot? The more you have your hip over your heel, the easier it will be to get your foot muscles moving. One of the first steps to healthier feet is not standing with your weight forward over the front of the feet, backing it up. How about lifting your big toe up and keeping your little toes down? How about little toes up, big toe down? And then keep working on those if it's not happening yet, or just spreading the toes. Otherwise, how about going back and forth between the two? All right, bring that foot back. Step up to the top of the mat. Outer edges of the feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Sit back into a chair pose, working on our alignment of getting our knees over our ankles, our thighs hip distance apart. Press up. Remember, a little goes a long way. Step your feet a tiny little bit wider than hip distance apart. Sit back, watching your alignment of your feet, your ankles, your knees, your thighs. Pressing up. How about stepping your feet a little bit closer than hip distance apart? Sitting back into a chair pose. Breathing. And then pressing up. Bring your legs back to hip distance. Sit back. Fold over your legs. Maybe bring a block underneath your hands. Keep your right foot forward. Step your left leg way back into a lunge. Center the ball of that foot. Then walk halfway around to your left, paralleling your feet. Back your weight up into your heels. Push through the backs of the legs to come up. Reach your arms out slightly forward so your upper back can be wide. Hands a little lower than your chest. Just turn from the belly button to the right and the belly button to the left. Unwind, cactus arms, belly button to the right and belly button to the left. Unwind, hands behind the head, ribs drop down as ears slide back, belly button to the right, belly button to the left. Unwind, arms reach up, belly button to the right, belly button to the left. Hinge forward from your hips, moving your thigh bones back. Maybe your hands come down to a block, or you can even put a chair in front of yourself. Putting your left hand on the block. How about working with neutral elbow pit here? Right arm reaches to the side. Keep backing up your hips as you turn from your waist open, checking on what that bottom arm is doing. Bring the hand down underneath your right hand, wrapping that elbow pit forward, left arm out to the side. Turn from the belly button, twist open. Good, bring that hand down, come on up to stand, heel toe your feet back in a little closer or a little wider than hip distance apart. Rotate your pelvis back, push your hips back. Again, you can use a chair in front of you instead of a low block, especially if you feel like your spine is really rounding, but you can also bend your knees if you like to keep your spine a little bit straighter. Left hand comes down, wrapping the elbow pit forward, right arm out to the side, twist open from the belly. Bring that hand down, block underneath the right hand, elbow pit wraps forward, left arm out to the side, twist open from the belly. Good, bring that hand down, and then from there, you're just going to come up off of your heels, sit your hips back. If this doesn't work for you, skip it. Squat down on your heels, coming all the way down, and then drop your right knee down, followed by your left knee down, and then stand up on your knees and come onto all fours. Thumbs spread out to the side, arms shoulder distance apart, knees hip distance apart. Relax your belly, tailbone in the air. Rhomboid push-ups. Breathing. Your spine sinks down with gravity. Lift up through your ribs, your breastbone, and your armpits. Keep wrapping your elbow pits forward. Press equally through the palms. If you're new to rhomboid push-ups and you're still figuring them out, keep your arms shoulder distance apart for now. Otherwise, just take your hands a little bit wider and do some rhomboid push-ups there. Ground through the tops of the feet equally. You can always walk your hands back a little bit so they're more underneath your chest. How about bringing your hands a little bit closer than shoulder distance apart? Thumbs spreading out towards each other and doing some rhomboid push-ups there. All right, stand up on your knees, knees hip distance apart, pubic bone forward, hinge back from the knee joint. Come up nice and slowly. Might not be a very big motion at first. That's okay. It's not sitting back. Keep the pubic bone forward, hinge back, and come forward nice and slowly. How about stepping your knees a tiny bit wider than hip distance apart? Hinge back, and come forward. Hinge back, and come forward. How about stepping your knees a tiny bit closer than hip distance apart with your feet right behind your knees? Hinge back and come forward. Hinge back and come forward, and then step your right foot forward to the top of the mat. Tuck your back toes under. Push down to step up. Grab whatever you're going to use for a double calf stretch. It can be a towel that's long enough. It can be 2 thin blocks side by side. So in this case, you might just want 1. For the next round, you're going to need 2 of something. So you're putting the balls of your feet up with your feet pigeon-toed towards each other. Feel free to have your hands on a chair in front of you, especially if you have maybe some excessive lower back tension. It's helpful to rest your hands down. But otherwise, push your hips back with your feet pigeon-toed. Center the weight between your 2 legs to start, and then just shift your hips a little bit side to side. Think more of backing your hips up and less of dropping your spine down. So your spine stays with a nice neutral curve as your hip shifts side to side. Pressing equally through the balls of the feet, that area right below your toes. And breathing. And you're trying to go straight to one side, not so much forward, straight to the other side. So that might mean the motion is a lot smaller. Okay, come up. Feet turn out to the side. Outer edges of feet turned out. Rotate from the pelvis, backing your thigh bones up. And then shift your hips a little side to side here. A little goes a long way. Press equally through the balls of the feet, that area right below your toes, from big toe to pinky toe. Relaxing any clenching, relaxing the lower belly. All right, outer edges of the feet straight. Pushing the hips back, tailbone relaxes into the air from the belly relaxing. Hip shifts side to side a little bit here. And if you find a particular angle that you want to stay out and take a breath, feel free to do that. Press equally into the balls of the feet from big toe to pinky toe. Relax any clenching. All right, and then come on up. So starting at the top of the mat, outer edges of feet straight, ankles hip distance. We're sitting back into a chair pose. Over time, you want to start seeing, keeping my knees back and my thighs from collapsing in or out. Can I start to drop my hips a little lower without necessarily the spine diving forward? So go nice and slow. If your hips drop easily, go a little bit slower. Then re-back your hips up. Press into the soles of the feet as you push your hips back and come up nice and slow. Step your feet a tiny bit wider than hip distance apart. Outer edges of the feet straight. Sit back into a chair pose. And then just start to take your hips a little lower. You might have to readjust your leg alignment as you come down. Push up nice and slow, backing up as you come up. And then step your feet maybe a little bit closer than hip distance apart. Sitting back, maybe taking your hips a little bit lower, traveling back through your shins, but pressing through the front of the feet. Maybe the hips can drop down more. Bringing the hips back, pressing through the feet to come up. Come back to hip distance apart. Sit back into a chair pose. Fold over your legs. Step your right foot way back into a lunge. Find the center of the ball of that back foot. Walk halfway around to the right. Parallel your feet. Back your weight up into your heels. Come on up. Arms open, palms up. Belly turns to the left. Belly turns to the right. Unwind. Elbow bend. Belly turns to the left. Belly turns to the right. Unwind. Hands behind the head. Ribs down, ears slide back. Belly to the left. Belly to the right. Back to center, arms rise. Belly to the left. Belly to the right. Rotate forward from the pelvis. Your right hand comes down, elbow pit wraps forward. Left hand twist open from the waist. Switch, left hand comes down, elbow pit wraps forward. Right arm goes up, twisting from the waist. Bring that hand down, back your weight up into your heels. Come on up. Walk your feet in a little wider than hip distance. Pushing your hips back. If needs be, you can sit your hips back into a chair squat, starting with the right hand on the block or the front of a chair. Twist open from the belly. Switch sides, letting your breath flow. All right, from there, you're coming up off of your heels. You're sitting back into a chair pose, coming up and off of your heels, and slowly squatting down. If that doesn't work, skip it. Try to put your left knee down first, followed by your right knee, and then from there, we'll come onto all fours, letting our belly relax to the floor so our tailbone goes up into the air. Think of the top of a rhomboid push-up, and then let's do some tricep push-ups here. So you're trying not to let your elbows pop out, not only on the way down, but it's very common on the way up that they also want to pop out. So keep your elbow pits wrapping forward, your elbows pointing straight back, and then the hardest part after you get the elbows is not letting your ribs collapse down. So think top of the rhomboid push-up as you bend and straighten, pressing more equally through the palms of your hands. How about, if this is new to you, keep your hands shoulder distance, take your hands a little bit wider. Top of the rhomboid push-up, belly relaxed, tailbone up, tricep push-ups here. Okay, how about bringing your hands a little closer than shoulder distance apart, elbow pits wrap forward, top of the rhomboid push-up. Pressing equally through the palms of the hands. All right, come on up onto your knees, hip distance apart, hinge back. Slowly come up, feet the same distance as the knees, hinge back. Slowly come up, knees a little bit closer than hip distance apart. Hinge back and slowly come up. Listen to your joints. Nothing should be painful. Hinge back or really even uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. Come forward. Step your feet a little wider and your knees a little wider than hip distance apart. Hinge back and come up nice and slowly. Hinge back. Come up nice and slowly. Step your feet to hip distance apart. Step your left foot forward. Tuck your back toes under. Push down to step up. Here's where you'll want 2 towels or 2 thin blocks or 2 of anything that's about the same height. Put them down together. We're going to do outer edges of feet straight every time. Have your feet be closer than hip distance apart. Rotate your pelvis, back your hips up. You can do this at a wall. You can do this with a chair in front of you. Shift your hips a little side to side. A little goes a long way. Lower belly relaxes. Okay, come up, step your feet to hip distance apart, outer edges of the feet, heels as wide as the pinky toe. So it might feel like they're pigeon-toed a little bit. Back your hips up, shift your hips a tiny little bit side to side. Small is okay. It will help you work within boundaries that will help you use more of your muscle over time. Come on up. Maybe you might have to separate the blocks. Step your feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart. Outer edges of feet straight. Back your hips up. And shift a little side to side here. 2 straight legs. Keep letting the breath flow. All right, your feet are a little wider. Step your feet back. Start to sit back, dropping down towards a squat. Go slow. Eventually, if your hands come down, you can just crawl your knees down, but just go really slow. Try not to fall. Sitting back in a squat, maybe shift your hips a little side to side here, backing your thigh bones up a little bit, breathing, grounding through the feet. And then as you feel comfortable, come on down to your buttocks, maybe putting something under your hips so you can sit a little bit more with an upright pelvis, stretching your legs in front of you, flexing your ankles, rotate forward from the pelvis a little, and then just slide yourself back up. Rotate forward from the pelvis and slide up. Let's do 2 more like that. Rotate and slide back and rotate, hold. How about pointing both of your feet here and then reflex both of your ankles? How about turning your fingers to point away from you? Touch your 8 fingertips down, pull back, spread your thumbs out to the sides. Flip your hands over, put the back of your hands on the floor any amount. Maybe your elbow pits wrap forward, maybe not. Don't force anything. And then release as you come up and come on down onto your back. Give your knees a little hug in toward your chest. Maybe a little rock side to side on your lower back. You can take a couple circles in one direction, a couple circles in the other direction. Maybe it just feels good to stay and feel your tailbone go in one direction as your thighs come in towards you. With your chin dropping down to your throat, gently turn your neck side to side. Relaxing your forehead, relaxing your jaw. And then as your head comes back to center, stretch your legs long, your palms flip up for your final pose, Savasana. Becoming very present with your body and with your breath. Stay present with your body and your breath. Authenticity is a daily practice. Choosing to be authentic means cultivating the courage to be imperfect, to set boundaries, to allow ourselves to be vulnerable, exercising the compassion that comes from knowing that we are all made of strength and struggle and connected to each other through a loving and resilient human spirit. Nurturing the connection and sense of belonging that can only happen when we let go of what we are supposed to be and embrace who we are. Authenticity demands wholehearted living and loving, even when it's hard, even when we're wrestling with the shame and fear of not being good enough, and especially when the joy is so intense that we're afraid to let ourselves feel it. Mindfully practicing authenticity is how we invite grace, joy, and gratitude into our lives. Be still for the next 20 seconds. Be still. If you're ready to move, scan your body. Feel what wants to move. Is it your toes to your ankles to your knees or your hips? Is it your fingers to your wrists to your elbows to your shoulders? Go slow. It doesn't have to follow any pattern. Let it be a free movement. And then as you're ready, roll over to one side and pause there. Recall that purpose that you set for yourself. And I would just like to remind you of a bigger purpose for us is that the reason we practice alignment and moving well is so that we can move more freely all the time. With a softness in your face, press yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Feel free to mix it up. Bringing our hands together at heart center in gratitude for this day. Namaste. And I'm going to go see my parents later today, so I am very grateful for this day. I hope that you are too.